economics behind NFT-Why celebrities, like Justin Bieber, Gwyneth Paltrow and Eminem Plum, mention NFTs and people get all defensive. Self-proclaimed evangelists of non-fungible tokens say it's a generational thing, meaning anyone who is shocked by the millions spent on cartoon images of an ape is simply old. Skeptics of NFTs are devastatingly dismissive too. When they say how can this possibly be art, what they really mean is that the collectors of Bored Apes, CryptoPunks and other digital images sold in cryptocurrencies have warped values, make crass speculative bets and, worst of all, have terrible taste. Meanwhile, the market keeps getting bigger and more outlandish. In the past month alone, Hong Kong has seen NFT launches by a feng shui master, a DJ, a Bored Ape-derived fantasy football club and a virtual human who will make a work of art. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's celebrities are joining the likes of Snoop Dogg and Paris Hilton in setting up their own universes in the metaverse, virtual worlds, where their fans can buy NFTs of virtual concert tickets, virtual outfits and virtually everything else. The Bears became more convinced that NFTs will go the way of tulips in the 17th century, and South Sea Company stock in the 18th century, and cryptocurrencies suffered a spectacular crash recently. The names of the NFTs seem to invite ridicule. Are collectors zombies who ape the actions of others out of sheer pandemic-induced boredom? Yet values of the most expensive NFTs in dollar terms have held up. So if one Bored Ape was sold for 40 ETH 3 months ago, it's probably going for at least 80 ETH today, to make up for the loss in value of Ethereum. Hong Kong's NFT startups vie to be next Bored Apes in a crowded space. It is difficult to see what the real trends are behind the frenzied launches, the impenetrable slang and jargon, and the cult-like tendencies of NFT evangelists who exhibit the same marketing zeal as purveyors of old-fashioned pyramid schemes. So let's take a step back and look at what NFTs are really for. The answer isn't as straightforward as their creators intended. Back in 2014, an artist called Kevin McCoy and a technology consultant called Anil Dash came up with the idea of using blockchain technology, which powers Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, to verify and record ownership of digital artwork. This promises tamper-proof immutability, a smart contract executed by a decentralized computer network that is permanent, transparent and comes with a full transaction history. These days, Dash is one of the most vocal critics of what NFTs have become. Mainstream brands have taken over the space, as they see their own opportunity to capitalize on the hype. In short, artists have been pushed to one side, while the cryptocurrency world remains a hermetically sealed economy that exists only to be traded. But rather than just accept that NFTs have been irrevocably ruined by money and greed, University of Chicago economist Canice Prendergast, keeper of the art collection at the Booth School of Business, suggests a middle ground. He points out that blockchain and NFTs are very useful and you cannot rely on the provider of a good to act in an appropriate way. That is why you rarely see established artists who are represented by a gallery issuing NFTs. You don't need to. When a gallery sells you a photograph and the gallery owner tells you the edition only has 6 copies, you can believe it because the gallery's reputation is at stake. NFTs work well when you don't have that assurance, he says. And because the NFT world appeals to those who do not like institutional constraints or regulations beyond the verification provided by a technology platform, you also don't have anyone working with curators and academics who reward artistic innovation by providing the certification that confers value. That's why there is so much spamming going on in the NFT space. Blockchain allows trading without an intermediary, and spamming is a trade-off, he observed. One shouldn't tar different kinds of NFT art with the same brush, though, Prendergast adds. Collectors of these may be thinking, I could be the person owning the rights to the next Mickey Mouse. Canice Prendergast, University of Chicago economist. The academic, whose main research work is on creating a private currency to facilitate the distribution of COVID-19 vaccine to low-income countries, has been paying a lot of attention to the crypto space because of his interest in art and in the design of markets in general. He notices that there is a category of NFT art that doesn't make much economic sense to him, abstract art made by algorithms that are sold by the thousands and have no individual style. These are more of a quandary for me. You cannot calibrate the supply of something that doesn't stand out. Some are sold for over $1 million. Perhaps the NFT art market values novelty and the first to do something, he said. Bored Apes and CryptoPunks, which are also made by algorithms, do not belong to that category. In both cases, 10,000 unique versions of the same cartoon creature were created by software that mixes and matches different attributes such as gender, accessories, hairstyles and facial expression. He posits that the wild valuations may have to do with similarities with 3 tried and tested business models: Walt Disney, social media, and art fair. This part of the NFT market is where someone is trying to create the Mickey Mouse of this era. These are new sets of characters. Collectors of these may be thinking at the back of their minds, I could be the person owning the rights to the next Mickey Mouse, Prendergast suggests. There is also the irresistible pull of exclusivity. The owners of the 10,000 Bored Apes, currently standing at 6,300 according to the official OpenSea marketplace. Get to be members of the Bored Apes Yacht Club, basically a company that came up with the ape. As members, they enjoy perks such as real-life junk parties and the right to buy merchandise and boast about the fact that they belong to the same club as Gwyneth Paltrow, Eminem and Justin Bieber, who has 2 apes. It's not that different from taking a private jet to Art Basel and attending VIP parties, Prendergast said. Tencent-led NFT standards project approved by UN agency. Ultimately, it's about selling a community, he adds. The startling thing about NFTs is that the overall supply tends to be huge. 10,000 seems to be the magic number. The mechanism is similar to social media platforms that plow earnings into increasing their size of the market. The more people who use Facebook, the more valuable Facebook is to its user. That's the basic tenet of what we call platform competition. The traditional art market doesn't take that view, and it keeps additions to a small number. In return, buyers get to boast about it by using a Bored Ape or CryptoPunk as their social media profile. To skeptics, all this boastfulness may sound childish and utterly banal. That's not fair, says the latest Hong Kong celebrity to back NFTs. Stephen Fung Takluan, film star, director and husband of actress Shu Qi, has just become a landlord in Mega City, a virtual Hong Kong inside a metaverse called the Sandbox. He doesn't hide the fact that it is all business. He is mulling NFT games related to films that he's made, or selling passes so that fans can hang out with the couple virtually and with each other. It is human nature to want to belong to exclusive clubs, he said. From CryptoKitties to beepless crossroads, NFTs are everywhere. Hey race, why? But the focus is on helping artists. I am a graphic designer with a degree from the University of Michigan and I want to help colleagues who graduated with me. They may have been making a decent living these past 2 decades, but this is a moment when they can really shine. They make good art and I believe original digital art has a lot of value, he says. Fung reinforces the idea that the fact that artists receive royalties from secondary sales by default is a fundamental feature that makes this a market that respects artistic talent. Prendergast points out another aspect of the NFT market that is valuable to the existing art world. This should be a wake-up call to the traditional art market, which is often blind to the barriers of entry that it has. It is not a liquid market, and the secondary market for most artworks doesn't function. Art galleries often charge 50% in commissions, so if you resell a work that you no longer like, you lose half the value. For NFTs, the market is very liquid. If you don't like something you've bought, you can sell it for a 2% fee, he says. Artists who are so famous that they no longer need galleries to give them legitimacy are clearly taking note. Damien Hirst and Kai Guochang are just 2 artists who have sold NFTs directly in the past year. In an interview with Post magazine, Hirst explained the artistic approach behind the currency, his tongue-in-cheek experiment that sold NFTs for a series of earlier works on paper consisting of multicolored spots. Prendergast gives a more prosaic interpretation. Damien Hirst tried to short-circuit the gallery system back in 2008 and he sold directly through an auction house, which in those days was really controversial. He is very clever and very quick to jump onto this new method of distribution. And look at how many NFTs he minted for the currency. 10,000. This is someone who knows about platform competition.